about his mother and so on. And then he came at 10 o'clock, my father turned the radio on. That was bedtime. Everybody off. So the next night he came again. And my mother left us alone, and he said, well, she can learn a little English that way. So the third night he came again, and then my mother didn't know what to think. And he was there, and he asked me if I would marry him. I'd not known him 3 nights, a stranger from somewhere. And I said, yes. And you know, then I thought, what have I done? Then in October, I met him in July, end of July. In October, he had to go back to the United States. And there was no mail service. And so he wrote the letters to somebody he knew in the military. And they, close by where we lived, and they brought the letters every Saturday. Somebody came about 10 o'clock, knocked at the door, and there was a bunch of letters from Robert. And it was 2 years before I got permission to come to the United States. That was 1947. And I had no idea what to accept. There was one flight out of Frankfurt to New York, one a day. And that plane held 47 passengers, and 2 of them had to get off in Ireland because of weight. How many of you have ever been on a plane? So you know how big they are. This was 47, and one a day out of Frankfurt. So I got on that plane, and I was let off in Ireland. And I said, what's going to happen to me? And they said, well, they have to get rid of you. They want to clear the airport. So 3 hours later, I got a plane to New York. But while I was in Ireland, they had a big dinner, and that was steak. I had never in my life seen a steak, and I couldn't eat it. The woman sitting across from me said she'd take it, and she ate it. So, but when I got to New York, I had no way contacting anybody in Arkansas. The McCormick family had moved to a little 4-acre farm in Arkansas. And so Robert was with the family then. And so I had my father had a cousin in New York. And we had her address. And so somebody at the airport located that family, and somebody came. It was a butcher, a cousin to our family cousin. And he picked me up and he took me to that family. And then they sent a telegram to Robert in Arkansas that I would come to St. Louis on such a day and such a train. That was a 20-hour train ride. I had no money to pay for anything. You cannot imagine going anywhere without money in your billfold. I mean, I had German money, but it wasn't any good. I had no American money. And so my relatives paid for the trip for the time being. I got to St. Louis, and Robert was there at the airport. Then we got on a train to Arkansas. And then I don't even remember how we got to his house. So we got to the McCormick family place, and they were very nice to me. But they had no indoor toilet, they had no running water, they had a little pan on the back porch on a shelf. That's where you washed and where you took a bath. And they had to go to the smokehouse to dip into a deep well. Anybody ever seen a deep well or well drawing water on the farms? Maybe they still have that. And so that was the situation that, well, they were all nice to me. They accepted me just as I was. And Grandpa McCormick couldn't read or write. And Grandma could write a little bit, but no punctuation and no spelling. And it was just, you had to struggle to read and understand it. And they had no schooling back in those days in the country. But they were very good people. They were nice. And they loved me. They were very accepting of all my shortcomings. And the food was so different. I had been used to good German bread. bakers in the family, and the bread with bad flour was still better than what I found here. And they had biscuits and gravy and bacon for breakfast. And I never eat such breakfast, but I guess you people like it. Can you speak louder? We got married a few days after I was here in Arkansas. And then we both went to college in Philadelphia, Arkansas, and Southern Arkansas. And that was more of a culture to my liking. That culture shock from coming to the first part in Arkansas, and I kind of overcame that. So we went to college, and we had 3 children after that, and then I finished my education at SEMO in Cape Girardeau and went to teach. My first job was in Missouri, in a little town of Leopold, Missouri, and it was nice. People were nice. And then I taught years and years after, retired a long time ago. We lived in Grand Tower. Anybody ever been to Grand Tower? Through the park? We lived in a big house next to the park. Yeah. For 33 years we were there, and we liked it. And the people in Grand Tower liked us too, and they still call. We've left there in '97, a long time ago, and they still call our house. Somebody needs directions. It's the McCormick place, and so we had good experiences in this country. My husband's been gone for 9 years, and I lived here in Murphysboro for a long time, and I like it here. I feel blessed that I could come here and live here, and we have a good church here, and I feel like I'm at home. And it's good talking to you. You have questions? You have to talk loud to me because I'm hard of hearing. Anybody?
Down in Great Tower, isn't almost everybody part of a big family?
Did I what?
Down in Great Tower, isn't almost everybody part of a big family?
Are you from Grand Tower?
No, but one of my dad's friends, he goes down there to work on his house, and he told me they're mostly friends or family that live down there.
Well, what is his name? Would I know him?
No, I don't.
What's that?
You know my great-great-grandma?
Does she have a name?
What's
What's
that?
her last name?
I don't know.
Oh, well, now you have a name.
Robinson? That's her?
Hey, Lana, you already asked one. Answer.
She does know.
Her name is Linda. Her name is Mary Campbell.
Mary, and the last name? No, I don't know that.
Okay, no more questions about if she knows somebody. That's not relevant to the topic here.
Okay. Experience.
How did you learn English?
How did I learn English? I went to the school in 5th grade. We started from 5th grade in that school. In 5th grade, we had French. And then 2 years later, we added English. So we had 2 languages at the same time. In the last 3 years, we had Latin. So I had a lot of languages, and I always wanted to do something with languages. I learned to speak English, and I went to teach English in high school, and I speak it every day.
Did your mom teach you how to speak German?
Can
Did
you
your mom teach you how to speak German?
He's asking, did your mom teach you how to speak German?
Oh, everybody.
Yes.
What was your husband?
Okay, Trey, question.
Speak it loud, bud. Speak loud. Speak loudly.
Can you still speak German?
Can you still speak German?
Yeah, I can speak German, but there are not too many people around that speak German. My son lives next door, and he married a girl from Germany too. But everybody here speaks English, but we can still speak German. Yeah. And I have a friend from Austria. When I talk to her, we always speak German.
Do you know how to speak? So the teacher that taught you
A lot.
English, he speaks English.
When I teach,
The teacher that taught you how to speak English.
well, the teachers I had in high school that had to teach English, they spoke the language, and they may have been in the country. I had one teacher who had been in the United States teaching at one time, but that's been a long time ago too.
Does your brother live in Murphysboro?
Speak loud.
Does your brother live in Murphysboro?
Does your brother live in Murphysboro?
No, my brother got killed in 1945.
Phoebe.
My son lives next door.
I was wondering, what were the names of the people who walked with you part of the way to your home?
Who did what?
What were the names of the people who walked home, who helped you get home? Like the people who walked with you most of the way on your way back home.
Do you remember their names?
After the
She's
war.
asking, do you remember the names of the two girls that walked with you on the way home? Do you remember their names, or
No,
did you not really know
you
their
know,
names?
at that time, names really don't matter. We still wrote to each other for a while, and then it fizzled out, and they may not be living anymore. I don't know.
Did you and your brother before he died, did you guys get along a lot?
Did he what?
Did you guys get along? We didn't want to
He's asking that before your brother passed away, did you guys get along when you were young? Because he's saying him and his brother don't.
But there were years between us. He was so much younger, and we loved him, and we didn't fight. The sisters and I, we did. My older sister and I never got along very well until later. You know, when you fight with your brother, that's normal. But when you get out of school, you listen, and then it's different. Back there, speak loud.
Why don't you stand up? Stand up. So you get that diaphragm going. Let's go.
If any of your family members still alive, like any of the family members, like your cousins,
Or any of your family members still alive? You're talking about immediate family from Germany, she was in Germany?
like
Or any of your immediate family members still alive in Germany?
Yeah, I have one sister still living, my youngest sister. She was a baby then, and she is still living. And they have been over here, and they're some of her grandchildren.